Creative Universe, Checkpoint Earth, Divine Mother and me, Priestess of Union. As a teacher, I stand for and do the work of Divine Mother on Earth, being her Priestess of Union. This makes it possible for you to provide you with the relationship by me, in which you can safely find your true union and develop and sustain your union consciousness. Today on the show, we have Priestess of Union as a topic in itself. Because we're going to look into what this even means. Does it say something about me? Does it say something about you? And yeah, I can already provide you with this little tidbit of wisdom up front. It's a little bit of both. And we're going to find more about what that means and how that helps you to come into union with your true twin flame, and importantly, to keep it. Because isn't that what we all want? A lot of people in these times, because it's really a relevant topic for these times in which we are living now, a lot of people have some form of a connection with the twin flame idea, or they have some stroke of luck and their heart feels it, their bodily experience met them, and then it falls apart for most people. But it does give you this deep anchored craving to actually have that as a sustainable foundation of your actual daily life, of the partnership that could make your existence here a stay in heaven on earth. And that's truly possible. But for that to happen, something else needs to happen in your life besides meeting them, have a fleeting moment with them, feeling the possibility in the heart right now. Something more needs to happen for that. And that's why you're here. That's what this is all about. And yeah, today as well, I hope to inspire you to make that work for you. Make work out of that, because it's worth it to start making more work out of the idea to really sustainably have your true twin flame as the foundation of your life, instead of only an idea or something that just happens only once and then it goes away again. That's a pity. That's not why that came into your life. That's not why that touched your heart so deeply. It touched you because it's true, and it's the true possibility is knocking on your door to have twin flame union as the foundation of your life and keep it there. So that's what we're about. That's what we're gonna speak on. And that's what we're gonna deepen today. And Divine Mother and me means that we're going to talk, we're going to use oracle cards. Yeah. So I'm looking forward to what we're going to find out together, because it's really going to be together, right? So, yeah. So also, because it is together, let me know in the chat where you are watching from, or as a comment afterwards. Add a heart in the comment section for desiring union, and a flame for calling in the consciousness state of harmonious union that it is all about. This is the time of dancing together towards May the 1st, 2025, because that is the date exactly at which the doors will swing open to show you what the group year course is going to be that I prepared for you during a couple decades in this lifetime. And it's going to be the masterpiece for 9 people that I prepared for you. It's going to be a group course that is going to provide everything that you need to make a success out of your twin flame journey and actually arrive instead of being stuck in a journey. And then when you've arrived, to start to unpack that more and more and more. And I even provide a whole host of things that you can use to actually unpack that and unpack that and unpack that, because there's a whole union lifestyle that is actually supposed to be lived there. And if you don't live that union life there, union influenced lifestyle that I can provide for you together with the Divine Mother, well, then you might just quickly see that it fizzles out again and disappears out of your life again, you see. So, yeah, that's also what we've seen in practice over the past couple years, in which I already have spread among real students the teaching, and I have seen it happen all the time, that people incredibly quickly go very deep in the journey when they truly tap into it with me and come to what I share behind the YouTube screen. And they really reach it after a while as well. Every one of them that truly taps into it and makes use of the possibilities that I offer. And that's because what I offer is true. It's a real thing. But we've also seen a couple of times that it keeps on being sort of fragile in the beginning when you arrive. And you really need to keep on sticking around to change your whole lifestyle into union. So that's really what I integrated into this group program that opens on May the 1st for a reason, because that's just what you see. That happens in practice, that we need that. And I can empathize because I went through all these challenges myself. I had all these moments that you want to jump off the ship of the true journey. I had to correct myself all the time. I do the inner work still always every day, although I've arrived in 2020. Yesterday, for instance, I went to one of my monthly study days. So, yeah, that's also where I am currently building on keeping it alive, being the anchor for you in the divine truth, um, keeping that anchor really free of contaminations. And at this moment, in that work that I'm doing every month for you, um, we are currently building on a foundation there that makes it really start to go automatic. And it is very physically anchored. It has to do with a building made out of bricks, right? And it has to do with a whole organization of actual people that are working there. And we are building that right now so that this consciousness has workers, has a place, has an anchoring on earth as literal as you can think about. I'm not kidding you. And that is what we're building right now for you, to not only have harmonious union as a consciousness state. And then it's still like, yeah, well, it's a little bit floating around, but what are we doing here? I can even go to your group course, and you're invited to for 3 to 5 years. Would be awesome. That could be an awesome beginning for you to get everything in order for you, right? But then still, it can feel like, but isn't that a little floaty still? Well, to have that completely and utterly anchored, I am, as we speak, well, actually, since the last 3 years, I'm not kidding you, building on a literal anchoring on earth. So yeah, that's sometimes what I'm busy with when I'm not around in the Facebook group Your Abundance, for instance, which is our living room. When I'm not on YouTube doing a live. So yeah, that's just all to make it possible for you. So anyway, that needed to be shared, I guess. So yesterday I had another day of work on that, and it starts to become really more concrete. We're getting there. I think this is going to be a year of breakthrough in that endeavor. And that later this year we might have the true breakthrough in the second half of 2025. We'll see. I'll keep you posted, right? So, yeah, this is the time of dancing together towards the opening of the school, the group program. And it's going to be called Twin Flame Abundance now. And what happens when the door opens is you can see what it really is. You can prepare to buy and start. And we also start with a lot of festivities, such as a game, a challenge that is completely free and for whomever wants. It's going to be very festive and very incredibly educational and also fun. So yeah, look forward to May the 1st anyway, whether you're going to take part or not, because it's going to be festivities for anyone, because it's just a festive moment for all the people that follow me. And now we're just walking there, we're going there. We're on our way. May the 1st, here we come. So yeah, just wanted to share that with you. And today we are supposed to talk about a real topic. So there we go. And that is Priestess of Union. What is that? Well, that is like one of the ways you can speak of who I am to the work and to you, perhaps. Because that's the role that I have to you to make this all possible. That is a role that I have in the invisible place in the universe where this work is prepared for you so that it can work out for you and you will have everything that you need for it and arrive and have success. We need a person that takes responsibility. We need a person that is working there, right? So that would be me. And I'm the Priestess of Union. I'm the one that just explained to you, that is doing these preparations, anchoring this work, working with this organization, making sure there's a brick building, etc. So yeah, that's me, right? That's just going to be me together with Divine Mother. Not me, like the private me that makes a stroll in her free time, but it's like the me that is in that role. And that's, of course, just all part of what the me is. And it's part of what I offer you because we all in the beginning need someone that is already there, that is already anchored, that is already aligned with the divine, so that you can also get it. Because this work, union, is harmonious union, the consciousness state, is being passed on from person to person. It does happen in the relationship between you and me. And you have to come over and tap into it for that to happen for you. And that's genuinely how it happens. So you need the Priestess of Union for you to make that happen. There's no other route. People might tell you that to scam you out of your money to buy their services, which might make you feel better, might even heal a little bit inside of you. But it won't give you union. It won't give you sustainable, harmonious twin flame union, a consciousness state through which everything will be given you and will keep on being given you. And that is the opening to the true twin flame. And importantly, also towards your abundance, which is your energy, your soul money, your resources that come to you, that flow to you automatically in that state, which is everything your heart always already desired. And that is not being opened by well-meaning people that don't provide the real thing, but here it is. And all right, so you need this other person that gives it to you. For me, that was the same ones, right? So there's no difference in that regard, just a difference in time. and a difference in place where that happens. You can choose where you want it to take place. There's one other place in the universe where you can go, and you're free to choose that. You're free to go there. I cannot tell you where it is. You will have to pray, and then you will find it. But in my story is already baked into it is the idea that so we're only different in a matter of time. For you, when you truly tap into things, you go the entire route. You come out on the other side where you arrive. Um, you will one day also be in harmonious twin flame union, the consciousness state that in the first place, and be with your twin flame, and keep on being with them, etc., and start your mission, maybe your mission business, if that feels the right form for you as well, etc. And then you might be a source for someone else. And that'll also become possible through me, because we're going to work on you becoming a creation coach that can do that officially as a mission. And that's also going to be available a little bit later on for you to tap into as well. So then you can become accredited and whatnot. It's going to be awesome. Anyway, so that's just where it'll go for you too. You can become that source material for other people. And that means that being the Priestess of Union is actually for you too. Being the priest and priestess of union is actually in harmonious union consciousness and the lifestyle that fits with it, exactly the way that you're going to live. You will be the priest yourself. And you do not even necessarily need like a priest as an in-between person when you fully arrive and you fully make it come true. That is so interesting about this lifestyle, because we come from a time in which true spirituality worked with a person that needed to come between and implement it for you. And then in the end, now we change to a place where you can do it yourself for yourself. But at the same time, everyone in their journey needs to go through that development themselves, still always. So in history, in the bigger sense, this is where we're going now. In union development, this is where we're going now. In an educational sense, you first need to tap into being guided into it until you can stand on your own and have that be true for you, that you don't need a priest outside of yourself. Because I've never seen that work otherwise. Because it's still very different from mainstream and what we're used to. So that's a little bit where we stand in the leading edge of spirituality. And that's a little bit of what will happen to you. And that's a little bit of where you will go, where you're now, where you're going, and what Priestess of Union actually means. But we're going to find out more about that with the oracle cards that I have prepared for you here. By the way, I'm very aware that this story, right? It's like a contradictio in terminis. So that's true. And yeah, like let's add that at the beginning as well. That is kind of normal in this work, because everything in the journey where you come from, and then everything will turn around and then you arrive. That's just, I talked about that before, right? It's like the big turnaround. And that truly happens. It's not an idea. It truly happens to you in ways that your ego can't make up or imagine or plan or schedule. And yeah, that's just so interesting about it, But you genuinely turn everything around, and then you arrive, and then you've got it all, and then no one can take it away from you anymore, and then it won't fall apart anymore, etc. But this big turnaround, that needs to happen. So that's why all these things, they sound like contradictions. And they do. And that's why I make these videos, to explain that time and again, over and over and over, that there's this big contradiction that you, and in this phase, in the middle phase or something, the transformation that you need to overcome. That's also the phase in which you come to the Twin Flame School, that will open on May the 1st and stuff. All right, so let's invite the cards to speak about this more, and explain it to you once again. And I'm just, looking over the decks that I have pre-shuffled, and then I see one and I pick it up, and then we're just going to see what comes out, and see what the story will be from there. So let's see, because I also don't know. So we're just going to together find it out. Wadjet. This is the Egyptian card deck. It's like a very deep background of spiritual symbology, in historically deep background of it. The snake goddess of life force and transformation. Research which holy ego house you have grown out of. What does not serve your consciousness growth will be taken away from you. Meditation idea: send your life force energy consciously to what you want to have grown. The snake is a very wise symbol, like the symbol for divine wisdom and transformation. And the divine wisdom that is enclosed inside of you already. That's why they often, they speak about the Kundalini power that is awakened. It's like the life force power that runs through the subtle energy system. That is just where your body is, right? But then like the energy version of that you're like sitting in right now. And that is like coiling around like a snake in itself, and then the head comes out above your head, or in front of the head, or around here. That's also how you see like pharaohs in Egyptian cultures, with that snake coming out of their headpiece. And that's, well, it's a sign of divine wisdom, and that the fact that the king or queen represents that on earth makes you like the priest of union, the priestess of union, the priestess of divine wisdom on earth. Because they have, or in the case of the Egyptian kings and queens, they are symbolically having the life force energy enlightened in themselves, and like the wisdom is made manifest in them, in the world, so that you can all drink from it and eat from it, symbolically receive it, which is also literally, because it's like an energy that feeds you on another level than you might have thought. So I feel like this is the Priestess of Union. The Priestess of Union is also being on the earth, but of the divine. It means living in heaven consciousness, incarnated on the earth. fully open to the spiritual world, incarnated in the flesh. And isn't that exactly what twin flames are? Because that's like what you are on a deeper level than many are accustomed to thinking about themselves that they are. So deep, so invisible, so close to their source relationship, but then come forward in the flesh as a person of flesh and blood that does possess the complementary form of what is one in consciousness. One in consciousness, unequivocally. A very magical happening in itself that does sound like unbelievable for the untrained mind, the mainstream mindset of our cultures. As of yet, that's going to change through you making it come true. Because that's the point. It needs to be made come true. There's a process in between. There's the transformation process in between. There's the turning everything around process that's going to happen to you. There's the being guided through that often experienced as emotionally very daunting episode in your life and moving through it to the other side. And that process is often different than we think, because we think like, oh yeah, well, I understand. I read a lot of books about spirituality. I love this idea. I know it is true. But yeah, everything will be involved in this. Like your body. Also all the body parts that you have closed off from feeling. They will need to open and present you their feelings. You will need to work through them to go to the other side. It includes all your emotions, the repressed ones from your childhood, the repressed ones from your teenage time, the repressed ones from your entire adult life, even those of other lifetimes or lives in other existences at the same time, or future lives. I don't mind. It includes your mental state and how healthy that is or how unhealthy. And you need to work through that. It includes working through your physical being here. It includes working through how you feel about our cultures and about the death cult aspects of it and the dark aspects of our cultures, in which they drink babies' blood and all kinds of things that most people cringe away at, or all other kinds of things that are horrifying to people. Slaughter of animals by the millions every second, and so on and so forth. Just or whatever for your experience is like dark. I don't even know what that is, and that could be a little bit different for everyone. I assure you that. For me, as Priestess of Union, these things have lost their dark power. They have lost their power to upset. And that's what work through it means. That's what the transformation process means. Maybe you can relate to this part of things, like upsetting societal aspects, very dark and difficult to grasp for the love and light mindset. But it means that you need to work through that, which means that you sort of need to accept that. What, like what? You must be kidding me, Petra? Accept that? Are you must be joking here, right? But it's some sort of an acceptance, yeah, I guess, like a forgiveness even. Like, yes, that exists. Yes, I live through that. I have felt these emotions and these upsets in myself. I have agreed that I do have all these reactions. I have allowed them to come up. I have allowed them to work through me and show everything that that does to me until I'm at the other side, which is a very different sort of allowing it than allowing on the personality level, where you would say, oh yes, I agree with drinking baby's blood. Oh yes, I agree with that practice, let's do it tomorrow. That's a very different kind of thing. That's not what I'm talking about. Well, it could be your choice or not, but I'm talking about agreeing with the fact how you react to that it does exist, and to let that work on you until you're not upset anymore, because you have found a very different form of life inside of you. It's not the light, the love and light, but it's also not the dark drinking of baby's blood. It's not both of it. It's just another layer inside of you, underneath it, you might say. Maybe some people will say in another kind of storyline, it's above it. I don't know, the higher self or the lower self. I don't know. It's just a little bit a matter of how you're going to speak in metaphors to convey something that is real, which I can convey because I worked through it. That's why Divine Mother put me in the position to be the Priestess of Union. What this whole new live show series is about. It's supposed to be about that. So we're just researching what the heck this new live series is going to be about, I guess, right today. We're still talking about the first card only. The snake goddess, Wadjet, from the Egyptian pantheon. That is the life force energy, and it stands for transformation. And this is not a matter of choice, when you go to your true twin flame. And maybe people say, like, yeah, but that doesn't matter to me. I just want to be with this man and I love him. And he just needs to learn a little bit, and then he'll be better suited to be with me. And then we can stick together, we'll stick it out. Yeah, I know. I know how it is, how it works. He just needs to, become a little bit more matured, and then we can, start to live together. And it'll be awesome. So what do I have to do with this snake goddess that is the divine priestess, the priestess of union, and that is sort of like underneath the layer of love and light and drinking baby's blood? You know what? I don't care. I just want to live together with him and cook for him every day, or I want him to cook for me every day. I don't know what sort of thing you fancy. What feels right in your in your union. What do I have to do with that? Well, so the point is that being with your true twin flame is living on a daily life level from a deeper point, a very deep point, a deep point in consciousness that is not yet integrated for the very most people on the entire planet, but also in the universe. Not yet. It should become normal. We want it to become the norm. That would be normal if that would become the norm. And we're on our way there, but we're not there yet. We're all pretty silly, stupid still. We're all pretty much in our ego still. And I can know that because I have for like 15 years or what have you, almost by now. I have seriously tried to base my coaching entrepreneurship in the world on this deeper place. And for 90% of the time, 99.999999999% of the people did not understand anything about it and was repulsed from going deeper there. And only the last couple of years that has truly 100% worked out, and everything started to click in, and some people have reached it because I shared a true thing, and it's really real. But I still every day deal with people that are like normal mainstream culture, or on other places when I go to other places, except my studio here. I mean, it's more like their allergy, right? That true deeper place where union lives, union with your true twin flame that is sustainable. That's more people's allergy. I think you have like this personality based theory about having certain things in your allergy, and it's like I don't know, it's like some sort of a schedule. I don't know, like I have this in my allergy. It's like saying this is in my shadow. Shadow, I think that's Jungian, that's psychology. Of course, I use many of such names and ideas to sort of express what is actually really more of me improvising about the truth of the matter that is deeper than all of that. Also, than Jungian psychology, also than having things in your shadow. It's deeper than any of such things. But yeah, it's more in people's allergy. They have it more in their allergy than in their wants and desires. That's probably another point in that schedule, the desire. And also because you need guidance to go there. You need an example, you need the Priestess of Union. You need a relationship to go there because it springs from one person to the other via having a relationship that you genuinely step into, that you invest in, and etc. So, yeah, maybe that feels complete now. I don't know, talked a lot about how, well, to sort of say, like, okay, we're going to live in heaven on earth. And that's something different than your everyday idea what you were used to. And you need to genuinely work through every little point where that touches you, and then you walk out of it on the other side. And I mean, it's more than worth it, and you can absolutely do it, and it will be actually quick, because that's what I come to bring, that it is like as painless as possible and quick and beautiful, and you can just walk out of that experience in heaven on earth. But then to also explain to you that that's not an idea, it's a reality that needs to be accomplished. And that's the work you're gonna do. And then being with your true twin flame is absolutely possible, and is like the rule, and is like easy, and is like beautiful. And that's the invitation of our time, to really sort of, accept that invitation, and that you're standing here and you have that invitation, and that you don't know yet what it is, but then to say yes anyway, to grab that hand of the Priestess of Union and move through it and walk out on the other side. That's really the invitation. So yeah, that was the Vajet. Wow, I mean, it's always so surprising, like what comes out. It feels a little bit as though I spoke half a story, but maybe we're going to repair that with like the next card deck. Seems logic, right? So, oh, gratitude. But that person makes me feel like Kuan Yin, which is an emanation of like a Christ like emanation, actually, of the East that has clearly visited me. So I think that's just a Christ mind, very much in a like a beautiful female, ephemeral, etheric. I think I want to say etheric form. But Kuan Yin is not only culturally female, it has also actually been a male. So, in a sense, it is like the Eastern idea of the Christ consciousness, the Christ mind, which is actually the same as union consciousness, the union mind, which is twin flame union, just to be very clear. That's what the Christ mind is. It's Christ consciousness, union, twin flame union. Same same structure below the surface, other emphasis in how you talk about it. So actually, this idea of Kuan Yin is like a male female shapeshifter, or it's like a, how do you say, hermaphrodite, like male female, like the consciousness before it is male female split out, which is what union is. Can you see that? Male female before it has diverted itself into two streams of soul coming from that one spirit consciousness. And these two streams are expressions from your one union core. And they incarnate as different persons on earth approximately around the same time, because you make core choices that are the same. And then you can also meet again in the flesh and have one life in the flesh if you choose so and go through the process. So this Kuan Yin, this is a Dutch deck, that like the words maybe like, what the heck is that word, Petra? But my native language is Dutch from the Netherlands, which looks a little bit like German, but it's a different language. Gratitude is what it says. But I also saw Kuan Yin in it. Priestess of Union comes to bring Christ consciousness, union consciousness, and give it to the people. Be the incarnation of that deeper union space. So that then logically life in the flesh on earth does present as, oh, there's one twin flame and there's another twin flame of the complementary sort. They will find each other in the flesh. They will meet each other. They will feel the connection that they already have with one another. They will feel the purpose that they're here for. They will feel the desire to be together, to stay together, to stick together, to build that mission together, to find ways to anchor this relationship that is already done and complete in the world. Oh, that's what Kuan Yin stands for and what the Priestess of Union comes to do here. And that's also your process. Well, and we can have gratitude for that. I think gratitude is a huge opener, a huge door to find where that union consciousness is in the now, and to let it in and to receive it. in all the places that you exist and that are at odds with union consciousness. That those are the places that you need to receive it, to have it. Because this is like the eternal background of life that does come forward in the physical. And when you have that, then you can be the male and the female in the flesh, meet each other, stay together, stick together. And that is really, yeah, okay, what were we saying? That like gratitude is a good way to start to enter that. To start to enter that. Right before I started the show, I ate a few nuts and it's still in my throat or something. The nuts are coming out. Does that mean anything? Well, the nuts are some sort of seeds. Is that true? Or seeds are seeds and nuts are seeds? Okay, I just Googled that, and the first thing that comes up says nuts are actually the seeds of plants. Okay. So let's keep it there. That was correct. So gratitude is the seed. Maybe that's the point why I was coughing, right? The seed or gratitude seeds union consciousness in your life. Yeah, because it becomes an attitude that you step into every moment of life that has a very high vibration from which it is easy to step into. Let's turn it over. To step into union consciousness, which you need. And you mean union consciousness, but you really need it. It's a real thing, an actual thing that you really need to grab onto and hold on to and let it develop in yourself and in your life. What that means to uniquely you. You need to step into that development. Otherwise, you don't have union consciousness. You just have heard about it, and that's not enough. It's just like, yeah, I have heard about the twin flame, or I have met the twin flame once, but that's not enough. You need to be together. You want to be together all the time. So you need to be in that consciousness all the time. That's how that happens. All right. So now we have the Native American cards. And I think it's pretty clear that we have the arrow here. Card 22. I'm going to look inside the booklet, but this is awesome because I think we've just hit our goal. 22, the arrow. Surprise. The arrow, a weapon, is used for defense and also offense against enemies or while hunting. It is a symbol of speed, success, direction, and travel. The shape of the arrowhead is also used as a protective amulet, sometimes with the addition of a pheasant feather or zigzag line that evokes lightning. An arrow requires careful aim, achieved by a good eye and strong, steady muscles. Once released, it follows its path to its inevitable conclusion very quickly. Whatever action you are considering, bear in mind the element of surprise. Solutions or blocks can occur suddenly. Surprise, unforeseen event, unexpected success, victory over a strong enemy, travel, instant solution after a long struggle. All right. Well, I think we're right on with the reading about the Priestess of Union. But she is also the one for you that is the arrow for you. She is the one that has the unexpected viewpoint for you, through which union can come in suddenly from a place that you didn't expect it to come from. This happened all the time to my students, and it's beautiful. It's miraculous. It's exactly what you need and what you called in. And it will happen in our relationship when you come closer. Okay. So. And now let's find some spiritual wisdom with the spiritual wisdom cards. I pre-shuffled them as well. So let's see. Your soul loves to meditate because in connection with the big spirit, you'll find the biggest joy. So, and what kind of personal message, personal wisdom belongs to that? So now we're going to, look in the personal wisdom cards. Whatever I do, I will never allow myself to abandon myself anymore. And what's that self? You know, it's the soul. So meditating on the soul is not abandoning yourself. And these are both things that you're going to practice. Yeah. It's like you're going to make a connection with the bigger whole. And you're in your personal development not going to abandon yourself anymore in your psychology. And this is like your meditation, your spiritual practice. And personally, you're not going to abandon yourself anymore so that you can keep on meditating on the truth. And it will come in more and more, and you'll receive it more and more. So that belongs together. So let's see if the angel answers will give us a clue if we're going in the right direction. Opportunity. Well, look at that rain of gold coins coming down from heaven. Yeah. That's what that is. And this one is sticking out as well. No need to worry. Because here is the Priestess of Union. It's an opportunity to step into that place where all the abundance comes from. When you do that with the Priestess of Union, you don't need to worry because you know that you will reach the right place. So you also don't waste time and resources. All right. I guess there is another angel that wants to say something, and these are the 72 angels of God that I work with. Well, this was flying out, so we'll take them. There are two angels. 58 and 26. Let's have a look in the booklet. 26. He ha ha. Okay, that's how you need to say it, apparently. I hope I say that right. God listening in concealment is what the name means. Prosperity for justice. No, propensity for justice and the law. Truth, great inner strength, discretion and counsel, power and abundance, secret information and knowledge, family and social circle, adaptation, propensity for science and politics, leadership and administration, decision making, diplomacy, ambassadorship, behavior in ambiguous situations, positive, constructive atmosphere, and team spirit. And 58. La. The right hand of God. That's what the name means. Divine laws and structures, healing from illness, especially psychosomatic, protection from scammers and liars, art and beauty, patience, mental strength, concentration, high level intelligence, logic, precision, and rigorous discernment, awareness and clairvoyance, neurotechnology, computers and programming, frankness and audacity, justice and order, kindness and unconditional loyalty. It's both really like laws and structures and also like communication kind of things, right? So it just feel like they just work together, both of them, to have a social yet also almost mathematical communication that will help you move through the big change, the great transformation. And that's what the Priestess of Union is for you. And where you'll arrive, that you can also be afterwards a communicator that is like supporting you from the side, giving you what you need, very precise, but also like concealed, also like almost secret, like the high priestess of the tarot deck. Because you need to do it yourself. You won't really see much of the workings behind the scenes that the Priestess of Union is actually arranging for you. But it's truly there. And this working of the techniques and the communication that is brought to you with messages from God itself at the right moment. And where does that come from? From the mathematical precision behind the scenes. The Priestess of Union knows where that is, when that is, and how to get it, how to organize it, how to structure it for you. So that for you, it seems effortless and it seems to come out of nowhere and it seems to be just only logic or against all logic ever from the ego. So that you're shocked into the other quality that it's really truly about, into union consciousness. That sometimes also happens. Because it is about the logic and the technique and the structure and the communication of, well, the priestess of union, not the priestess of your ego desires. That's another priestess, let's say. So this comes out to be truly what we discussed already in the beginning. What I'm doing currently for you, what I did yesterday in my monthly Twin Flame study day, I'm arranging for a background of structures and workings and communications with a mathematical precision that will automate the Twin Flame union consciousness background work that is needed for you when you step into the work. You make the decision to come closer, to invest. that I know that it's anchored. It's always here. It's always present. It's never not here. And that precision and that technique and that communication is represented by these two angels. All right. So, oh yeah, I think this feels like a good one. The green deck of, well, Twin Flame Mission, in fact. Okay, I pre-shuffled. This sticks out immediately, so let's take that. Children. Oh, children. Well, we're all children of God. We're all in the troop of Christ, being Christ's children, Christ consciousness children. We are children of Christ consciousness, playing together. All of us. Yeah, and the bigger whole is like organizing this play for you. All right. The, what are they called? The vampire cards. The vampire cards. Can we have a card for, there we are. The Priestess of Union. Ah, well, we're back at square one again. Snake Princess. Path of the snake to power. With a depiction of what seems to refer mostly to the biblical story of Eve, the first woman, that was seduced by the snake to eat from the fruit in the heavenly garden. That represented the wisdom of God. And was she wise to do that? Or was actually the wisdom of God already immanent in her beingness, and she didn't need to eat from it so that it became conscious? She was already a playing child in the garden of God. She had everything. She didn't need to make intellectual assumptions about it. She already had everything. But then at the same time, it wasn't that the snake said things to her or opened up wisdom to her that wasn't true. It was true. So there's also nothing wrong with divine wisdom. So now I interpreted it towards both sides for you. What about that? It depends on where you are in the journey, what is wisdom for you. It can be a step to understand something. And then you know that you need to step into it and forget about understanding it to actually make it come true. And when you deeply, deeply let yourself be immersed into being the child of God in the Garden of Eden of God, you find your twin flame there again, Adam and Eve. And you live in harmony there again, in harmony with God, which is the first ingredient that you need to make this come true and be sustainable. Then at certain moments, the wisdom from the wisdom tree, from the fruit from the tree, will open up to you for what you need to know in God's play. Because the more you are immersed into it, the more you will also be blessed with an overview of the wisdom that it is that you're actually living. Especially for those that are gifted to in that direction as part of their mission. Okay, let's take this one. The deck that looks like the former. Same author and artist. Yeah. And it is the Oracle of Change with shapeshifters and stories and mythologies, rituals at death. Saying goodbye. This is a formal occasion. Honor life. Card 11, which is always a beautiful twin flame number. It looks to me as though this angel woman is carrying a skeleton dog, maybe? Or baby. Let's have a look in the booklet. I think that's worth it to have a look. No, that's wrong. Is that wrong? Maybe now I become aware of the fact that I have called the last two card decks upside down. I think I did. I said the vampire deck when I was actually having the Oracle of Change, and I said Oracle of Change when I had the vampire deck. I'm sorry. So this is the right book. I just try to see what they say. If it's like a dog. Okay, I don't know. But don't be afraid of death. That's what it says. You are actually dying, spiritually speaking, on the journey. You die to your ego personality that wants to know everything and have upfront a full understanding of the whole shizzle and go its own way. And you die to that so that you within spiritual death to your materialistic tendencies in the past can step into where there's eternal life and a twin flame, because that's what that is. That's where they are. So you choose. Do you want to allow grief of what you thought you were so that you can be with your twin flame? Or do you just not? And therefore not be with the twin flame? Maybe with a false twin flame, and then you go on YouTube proclaiming that you are with your true twin flame and make a whole story out of that. Maybe you even believe yourself, which is a lie. You're living a lie then. So, and this is the Divine Abundance deck, love. Divine source is the idea that no person, place, or thing is your salvation, only love itself. And that's where you've died to needing a Priestess of Union and step into that you are stepped into your salvation, being love itself. And you are your own Priestess of Union. Because love is the only thing there is, and it's the only thing that's real. So let's get another love card of the Oracle of the Roses. Yeah, okay, well, okay. 2 cards. Second bloom. That is what is happening there. Seen from the ego personality perspective, in a sense. This is your second bloom. It's like the second half of life that you realize has always only been the full life. When you have stepped into it, you at the same time realize that the first half wasn't life yet. So it also falls away. It's never too late. That's the text on the card. New possibilities. There's this story about Jesus. Jesus was a spiritual teacher. He lived with his true twin flame because they just reconnected naturally after he came into the union consciousness that he reached with the help of his teachers. And according to the story, there is the first miracle that he did or he presented or that his students recognized him doing, and they felt it was a miracle. It was something extraordinary through which they had the idea and the feeling that that is how they could recognize that he was genuine, he was the real deal. But only ego personalities need physical miracles to recognize that this is the real deal. So it's in a way, it's a silly story that like shows that his students were clearly students. They were not in the know yet. The story about the first miracle of Jesus was that they were at the marriage at Cana. What was the place? There was like a social gathering. And because they just walked around in all kinds of places, Jesus with his students, to just be on the earth, right? While being in situations that presented options to teach. And the story is that there was a festivity and there were drinking and eating and there was this whole banquet and people were like talking and gossiping, no doubt. And, a whole bunch of wine was drunk. So let's say it was just beautiful red wine. It was great. But, there were a lot of marriage guests and there was only limited wine, So at a certain point, it was like, one person, the very famous Mother Mary, the mother of Jesus, realized while snooping into the kitchen or something, she was also there, apparently. She realized while looking at the wine, well, bottles were like not bottles. I think there was like more in like a clay pot or something. The wine clay pots that were almost empty. So what to do? Maybe his mother had even something to do with the organization of this social event or something, that she would maybe even be looked at as if she was not a good host if the wine was suddenly, at the end. At its end. And what to do then? They were still in the midst of all hustle and bustle of the social gathering. So what to do? Should they send the people home? Yeah, where to get new wine at that hour of the night? Suddenly, how to do this? So the story is that she said to Jesus, "Can you please make sure that we have new wine? More wine now." Somehow, miraculously, I'm sure you can do it. Do it. And the story is that he did that because his mother asked it. He did it because he was asked. He did it because he could, and he could make his students believe in him as a teacher through doing it. These are all interpretations that sort of often come with this story. So he changed water into wine. He said to the servants or like the kitchen personnel or something like, please fill these clay pots with water, and I'll make sure that they'll actually be wine. So as soon as they started to pour out of the clay pot into, I don't know how they did that, but into the glasses or drinking vessels, clay pots, I don't know, of the guests, it was actually wine and not water. Astonishing, right? And then the remark was of the guests or of the patron, of the main guest or whatever it was. The remark was, or that, oh yeah, that like a visitor said to the host, wow, I'm so astonished that you saved the best wine for when we're all drunk and we're at the end of the evening. Can you imagine that? You're so good a host that you would just save the best wine. Like, this is heavenly. It just tastes so good. You just save that for last. Most of the time, the host would serve the best wine first. And then when everyone is drunk, you just serve bad wine because nobody notices anything anymore. And it doesn't matter anymore. And just cheap wine is good enough for when everything is already over the edge, and everyone is drunk already, then it doesn't really matter anymore. So people don't notice. It's a lot more cheap. But you've turned that around. You're just the best host ever. Because we're just at the second wave, at the second half, deep in the night. And you served your best wine only now? Only God does that. Only divine hosts do that. Only out of your mind organizers do something like that, so much out of your mind that you're just like beyond brilliant. You're just like a giver. You're like compassion itself, right? That is unbelievable that you did that. And that's the second bloom. And this is a story about the second bloom of life. Oh, that made me cry. It makes me cry again because it means that it's a parable, and it means that when you think you are alive, I'm just always crying in my lives. I'm so sorry. I don't mean to do that. When you think you are alive because you're born and you just have all the senses, and you have all the physical things of life, and you think that life is a marriage feast in itself already because life is so good. What more can there be in the second half of life? What more can there be in the so-called deeper place? What more can there be if we listen to all these freaking stories about, yeah, there's a deeper place of life. It's called twin flame union. Who cares? I'm having this first part of life filled with marriage feasts and good wine, and we ate pigs, roasted pigs, and fresh bread. And do you understand how good life is? Like, who cares about twin flame union, the second part of life? The second half of the marriage feast. Like, who cares? I'm having a good meal here. What more can there be? The second part of life is often, it's like you're old and you're dying. Like, what the heck? But no, the second part of life is when you sink deeper into life from that state where you are physically oriented and you think this is great, right? Or this is it, right? This is all there is. And you sink through that to the deeper layer where twin flame union lives. And you never realized this. You had no idea. But what you find out is that it is so much better than you ever imagined. The second wine of life is the deeper version of life. That's where you come in twin flame union, in union consciousness, in Christ consciousness. And that is going to be the benchmark of life and what influences everything in your life 360 degrees. It changes everything qualitatively. Because that first wine, that was pretty much okay, actually. You thought that it couldn't get any better. But now, the quality of the wine, when you step into twin flame union consciousness and experience life from that, the quality of that life, of that wine, is so extraordinarily different and refined and good and made out of true divine love. Like you never could have guessed it. You never could have thought about this even. You never could have predicted that this could be so, that this qualitative difference of life is so complete and so enormous and so mind-blowingly different. You never could have thought of that. That's a miracle. That's the miracle. It's like the second wave of life in the deepening sense. And that is what Jesus stands for. He invites everyone all the time, all his students, just like any spiritual teacher does, that is a true union consciousness spiritual teacher, invites you to experience this deeper quality of life that is completely different. And it's a miracle. It changes everything. The marriage in the first wave of life is only a physical marriage where you may like each other physically or in your personality. You may have a very good fit or a bad fit. But the marriage in union consciousness, that's like refined wine. That is already complete. It already tastes good. You only need to start sipping. And the qualitative difference between that first idea of marriage and the second one is so mind-blowingly big that when you finally have stepped into that second part of the night where the qualitative wine, fresh from the miracle, is served, you not only never want to go back again to that first kind of marriage, you also forget about it. You just completely forget about it. It's like, well, I don't know what that was, but that was not a marriage. I know now. Now I know, right? Why would I go back? That's crazy. Are you nuts? The host just opened the second wave of wine. I'm not going to go back. The host is God. And Jesus, the teacher, just an in-between person between God and you that can, through his will power, He wills that the second wave opens up, that the qualitative difference opens up for you. He wills it. And then it happens. And that's a role of the Priestess of Union. That's what Jesus did. So there's even a more astonishing interpretation of this story. You thought maybe that it couldn't get any crazier. But, it can. So let's go to the Bible. Why not? The Gospel according to John. John 2, 1 to 12. I have it on my screen now. But we also good, I could also go into my Bible. That's also nice. St. John, no. Oh, yeah, St. John. John 2, 1 to 12. John 2, 1 to 12. Okay. This looks more fun if I read from my actual Bible, I guess. And the third day, there was a marriage at Cana of Galilee, and the mother of Jesus was there. And both Jesus was called and his disciples to the marriage. And when they wanted wine, the mother of Jesus saith unto him, They have no wine. Jesus saith unto her, Woman, what do I have to do with thee? My hour is not yet come. His mother said unto her servants, Whatsoever he saith unto you, do it. And there were set 6 water pots of stone, after the manner of the purifying of the Jews, containing 2 or 3 firkins apiece. Firkin may be like a measuring or something. Jesus saith unto them, Fill the water pots with water, and they filled them up to the brim. And he saith unto them, Draw out now, and bear unto the governor of the feast. And they bare it. When the ruler of the feast had tasted the water that was made wine, and knew not whence it was, but the servants which drew the water knew, the governor of the feast called the bridegroom, and saith unto him, Every man at the beginning doth set forth good wine, and when men have well drunk, then that which is worse, but thou hast kept the good wine until now. This beginning of miracles did Jesus in Cana of Galilee, and manifested forth his glory, and his disciples believed on him. After this he went down to Capernaum, and he and his mother and his brethren and his disciples, and they continued there not many days. And then new stories come in. So just, to make it more concrete. So here is another interpretation of the story. That will shock you. And that is that this first public miracle, as it is known, of Jesus was The story is a metaphor for opening up the deeper consciousness of life. Maybe at the same time, it also happened literally, who knows? But like the deeper consciousness is being opened up by Jesus for you, and you can taste from it. That's his function because he's the teacher. And that big first miracle was only possible because he was in union consciousness first. And that means that he was already with his twin flame, because that's what happens in union consciousness, that what we talked about with this one. So his twin flame was there too. She was the teacher with him. They were connected in that deeper consciousness. Logic. This was already done and dusted, Harmonious Union, before his students came and all these stories will have happened. Because that is logically what happens to anyone who is a teacher that is sharing from the genuine union consciousness. Because years, you know that. We all have Uncle John that took 5 years to propose to his wife. And then they bought a house and then they settled down. You know, there are steps. When you already know in the heart that this is it. Even in the old consciousness that we leave, that was so. So maybe this story is just right inside of the steps that he was taking, because it is the first public miracle. Now, what is the first public miracle of anyone going this journey? Now, what is it? What have I been telling you in this live, but also for some years already? What have I been talking about? What is the first miracle? What is it? Twin flame union. And what is that in consciousness? Harmonious twin flame union, the consciousness state. That's what you need to reach for that. It's now much more easier for anyone to reach that. That's beautiful. We live in that time. And what does that mean? That's the marriage, the spiritual marriage. And what does that mean? That you're going to build on making that real afterwards. There are a couple of steps. Sometimes it takes a little bit before you can make the contract and sign it and buy the house and live in it. It's not tomorrow at noon all arranged. It takes a little bit sometimes. In the physical, depending on physical things. So would it be possible that the first miracle, public miracle, marriage is a public act, isn't it? You make the contract, you sign it, you make pictures, you post them on Facebook, everyone knows about it. It's public. It's something that happens in society at large. It's a way of making known where you stand to the society at large. Would it be possible if the first public miracle of Jesus, the true teacher of union consciousness, that necessarily already had needed to have his twin flame with him, otherwise he wasn't this true teacher, which he clearly was actually his harmonious twin flame union and the solidification of that in his own marriage? What if the marriage at Cana was his own twin flame marriage? Now, what does that mean? His own twin flame marriage. Not only spiritually, but also physically. And everyone was there. His mother was there. Well, who would you invite when you get married? Your mother, okay. But you also invite your students. Okay. And some social people from the environment. Great. Well, you serve wine. You have a lot of fun after the official things had been over, okay? And isn't that exactly what that is? That he manifested his first public miracle, harmonious twin flame union, as a marriage in society. His first public miracle for everyone that will be so. And what does it mean? It means that he shows you how to found your life on the foundation of that deeper layer of the better wine, the best wine in the universe, because it's God that has infused this wine, because it's miraculous wine, because maybe it's just water, but God makes it taste like the best wine ever. And it has completely changed in its quality. And everyone notices that. So, what is this deeper wine of life, and how does it come in the world? It's the harmonious twin flame union consciousness coming in the world through the fact that people actually have it and actually come together as physical beings and marry together publicly and show, therefore, the miracle that harmonious twin flame union is to the world as the first public miracle that they have and show. And then they found the rest of their life on it, which is more miracles to come in your heaven on earth. And your students might be the next ones that also can do that. So that's what that means. It's the second bloom in which you forget that there was ever a first bloom, because the second bloom is the one that is really cool. And the second card is to hold steady, the surety of your foundation, being helped in secret, support, and community. That's what it says. It's the card of the roses, Oracle of the Roses. So that's how you keep your twin flame union and how you physically anchor your harmonious twin flame union consciousness state. That's how you live the better wine of life, and how you anchor yourself in that, and how you base your life on that. All right. The dragons, the dragon fae are going to say something. Aine and the protector. You have been born innocently. And that is for you and your sexual life, in a sense, which is what the twin flame is, which is the physical translation of your spiritual core, which is also logic, because spiritually you are already in twin flame union. And the manifestation of that twin flame union on earth is, well, like the high point of sexuality, of what sexuality could mean in all ways. Yes, in a sexual way, in like sexual acts in the bedroom, But also in the broader definition of what sexuality is, it's like the manifestation of everything that feels good to you in life and that fits you so well. There is no higher expression of that than the life that you have with your true twin flame. Yeah, I just was looking for the booklet to have a definitive assurance to myself that this was actually indeed the meaning of the cards. And it is. So there you go. So Divine Mother wants to show herself in a card. I think that's fitting, right? Let's see in which emanation she wants to come forward today. I saw one, so let's pick it. Okay. Our Lady of the Sacred Waters. Well, she looks very much like the Priestess of Union. I have to say. I am the sacred guardian of the holy waters. I offer you cleansing, healing, regeneration, and the miracle of life. I bring you the blessing of moving forward towards emotional letting go. I honor and support your emotional life, helping you tap into its potential healing power. Dive into the sacred waters of your being, and I will greet you as you emerge renewed and ready for the next stage of your life journey. And, oh yeah, Union and Mission card, making clear what does not work. A shadow card. D 2.1. Let's see. Presence feels good. When you are in a situation in which you time after time do not feel that something works for you, then you are at a certain point asked to take responsibility for that experiential fact. You have felt a couple times that this is, and it asks from you, while keeping in connection with your deeper self, a certain conclusion with according action. Right. Seems like we're going to leave the first wine round and go to the second wine round, right? Then it is time to put that into motion, even though it can feel uncertain in the beginning. Often it is uncommon to choose for a full contact with yourself in this, for a good relationship with your deeper value, for a full and conscious life in which you are allowed to feel good. Yeah. Do you recognize that? That it can be, although you know that something deeper and better and the better wine is waiting you, you're still hesitant to leave behind what you were clinging to. It is strange that we are being raised in a way that says that you are not allowed to feel good. All the while, this being the one and only way to live a healthy lifestyle in all applications and in all ways of your contributing to the world. This can be seen for what it is and let go of. This will thus be your state of giving to the world that you came to give. You see through this shadow game and consciously replace it with your light. This is your light that shines from your eyes to the world, on the places where your attention rests, and you add there what is necessary from the sanely filled up base in yourself. Seeing that something does not work in your union is a good thing. You do the inner work to free yourself from it completely and communicate a better way of dealing with one another and act on it yourself first. Your compassion beams from your eyes while you pass on what otherwise can sound like criticism. Everything runs more smoothly by means of your full attention. And you also see that in the picture, like your attention, like the eye is watching a certain place on the earth. It's like your focus is there. Like your compassionate focus is there. Okay, so now we're going to have like a closing card from the tarot cards that are called the golden tarot. The middle age paintings on them. Okay, the Emperor. Well, that's a very powerful card of like the Father, God, and this one actually also flew out, almost out, but now there are even two of them came out. So, and then we have the Magician, manifestation of miracles, and this is Jesus, right? Doing his miracles. And the Eight of Swords in reversed, which is you are on earth, but you're confused because you have all these mental objections. You live in a mental space where you see all kinds of negative interpretations of life, but you need to turn that around and walk away so that you can manifest the deeper wine of life, like Jesus did that. And then the aspect of you that is the emperor, like Jesus is like the spiritual element, right? Like the priest, the pope, the priest, actually, the priest, the priestess of union, the priest of union, the magician. Okay. And the emperor is like, this is your worldly power. This is your, I want to be methodical and I want to manifest lots of money and organize that well and stuff. So, if you are able to turn things around in your mind, you will manifest something that brings both in a new kind of harmony that has the quality of the qualitative wine of life that otherwise would never come into existence. So this turnaround needs to happen. And you have this blindfold on, and we all have that in the first half of life. And the blindfold has to be taken off. And you need to say goodbye to those swords and walk away. And that's the process that we all need to go through. That is the turnaround process. And you can't get around of it. You can't get around it. Okay. So even when you would say, but I only want to be the emperor in life, I only want to be materially wealthy, but that is also only able to be gotten through being the priest of union that knows where to find the qualitative wine of life, because otherwise your entire empire is not connected to the eternal divine truth and is worthless, although it is very expensive, and it does not sustain throughout time because it is not connected to the eternal fields of quality wine. So you always need to have the priest of union and the priestess of union and the process of turning everything around. Even when you only want to have material success. And of course, there are, when we look around us, so many examples of actually arrogance, like people that have success in money or success in society or success in the social world, and they may be very loud marriage guests, but they haven't realized yet that they didn't yet find the true qualitative wine. And that they will need to let go of their arrogance and probably part of their wealth and social status to be able to get that and then grow into that side of life in a new kind of social status, in a new kind of abundance that is based on another source. And people don't understand that yet, a lot of the time. And then we need to live in a world where that is all around us. And then we can have compassion for that, but not empathy. More about that on another time, I think. Awesome. Oh, and then underneath it, there's the 10 of Cups. There is your twin flame family that you want. A full dream with a full manifested union, daily life, marriage, family, with happiness and rainbows in the sky. So, wow, wow, wow. Well, thank you for listening to Priestess of Union. I hope this was inspirational today. So let's close off with prayer for Divine Mother. Ave Maria, gratia plena Dominus tecum, benedicta tu in mulieribus et benedictus fructus ventris tui, Iesus. Sancta Maria Mater Dei, ora pro nobis peccatoribus, nunc et in hora mortis nostrae. Amen. Salve Regina, Mater misericordiae, vita dulcedo et spes nostra salve. A te clamamus exulus filii Eve, a te suspiramus sementes et flentes in hac lacrimarum vale. Ea ergo advocata nostra, illos tuos misericordes oculos ad nos converte. Et Iesum, benedictum fructum ventris tui, nobis post hoc exilium ostende. O clemens, o pia, o dulcis, Virgo Maria, ora pro nobis sancta Dei genetrix, udini efficiamur promissionibus Christi. Oremus. Omnipotens sempiterne Deus, qui gloriose Virginis Matris Mariae corpus et animam et dignum filii tui habitaculum effici immeretur, Spiritus Sancto cooperante preparasti da ut cuius commemoratione letamur eius pia intercessione ab instantibus malis et morte perpetua liberemur. Per eiundem Christum Dominum nostrum. Amen. Your next step. Don't forget to actually start the process and jump on the team. Actively come to our community. Start doing the correct inner work and ask the support you deserve through our services so that we can start the relationship that will lead to harmonious union and beyond. When you're not in a relationship, you're not in the team. And you can't expect the results I'm speaking of. Currently, you are cordially invited to step into the group year course experience. This is the Twin Flame Mystery School you have been waiting for. I am looking for 9 people to step into this abundant opportunity. Twin Flame Abundance Now opens its doors on May the 1st. Start giving so that you can receive. The door closes as soon as I have my 9 people that will be successful in their journey. But first, we dance towards the opening of the door together. The show notes. You can, however, support this ongoing live Twin Flame news as such. Make it possible as co-creator. Without your participation and financial gifts, I cannot do anything because we need to have an energetic and verbal visual exchange for things to make sense and to know what I need to talk about for you. And also, we are on Earth, and that necessarily always works with money as a means to make sacred content actually physically flow. Therefore, I post the show notes in Patreon. Come over and enjoy. Have influence on the broadcasts. Don't miss out on the behind the scenes experience. Patreon.com/PEJ@CreativeUniverse. Link is in the description box below. This month, the Patreon subscriber action is the Divine Love reading for the old price of €99 instead of the new price of €177. Why don't you share this with a friend? If you enjoyed it, they might too. I am Petra, in the consciousness state of Harmonious Twin Flame Union since March 2020. Work with the new Christ Masters on Earth right now to roll this consciousness state out so everyone can enjoy the abundant life with their true twin flame soon enough after going in with me right here. Don't search any further. You reached what you were looking for. Om. Amen.